Hello, this is Walking My Path. It's August 25th, about 2 o'clock. We're back here at Brister's Hill. And today we're going to walk over to Walden Pond. We're right near the highway, so you can hear a lot of traffic. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about Thoreau, except where it comes up. It's been covered by a lot of videos and also a lot of books. Even Thoreau himself spent several years talking about it. Right there, I wish to speak a word for nature, Thoreau. And so to get there, we actually have to cross this highway, which is kind of treacherous. It's not the best part, and I will pause the video as we go across. So what we're looking for is bean field. This says old over here. Is Old County Road. So I'm not sure that this is the way. We'll go this way a little bit, turn around if needed. We're going to make it to Walden Pond. As you may know, it's a kettle pond. It's was formed by glaciers that were moving through, and so it's really deep. We'll talk a little more about that when we get to the pond. Like I said, look into the development for this area, and we need to make sure we oppose any development nearby here to keep the heritage of Walden Pond sound. So this trail is new to me. I've never been back here on Old County Road. That's what it's called. So I guess this is an old road that folks would have taken. And we're at the Waterton Fork. I'm pretty sure that we are not going towards the beans. So that might be another video. This is Old Country Road. Interesting though. How far can you make it on the Old Country Road? This is the old Concord Road here. Okay, I'm going to go up the old Concord Road now. Back, and I think this takes us towards back towards the pond. You hear kids playing in the forest. Walden Pond is a high destination spot, so there's always people. And I think it has been, even back in Thoreau's day, a lot of people came down to Walden Pond just to swim and fish, and you know, they still do. And for a while it was in the 1870s, there was an amusement park called Walden Amusement Park that opened up, and it eventually burnt down. Most people don't know about that. I sure didn't until recently. And Thoreau died before that, so he wouldn't have saw that. And in the 1950s, there was a restaurant down at Walden Pond where you could get oysters and lobsters, and you could said you could rent swimsuits in the 1950s. I don't know what that was like, but so we're on Old Concord Road. And so I imagine Thoreau has walked this road back and forth to his family's house on occasion. A lot of people think he was a hermit. He wasn't a hermit. He just came out here to write his book. A week on the Merrimack. Him and his brother had took a trip to the White Mountains and had been on the Merrimack and Sudbury River, just in a boat that they built, camping and whatnot. We'll have to get a boat out there before the summer's over and go a little ways. I'm not going to go all the way to the White Mountains. That would be a trip. And not one that I have the time to afford, unfortunately. Oh, I've never been on this trail, so let's see where we're at. We missed the bean field. We'll have to go back sometime and catch the bean field. And so this is the old country road up that way. And I can see a clearing, so I'm going to go ahead and walk over there and see where this comes out. That way I'll just know for future reference. I guess another entrance way would be good to know other ways to get in here. There's some ferns growing. And, oh, it's the railroad up here. Okay. And we still use the railroad today. The railroad was put in right about in Thoreau's time. So the railroad, he talks about the railroad, and I've took the railroad to work myself many times. But okay. That was a nice little side trip there. I think you can see the railroad up there. And so we'll go along the side here, and this will lead us back down to the pond. And the place has been a tourist destination for really ever since Thoreau lived here. With all, like I said, they had a theme park here. People would get off the railroad and come into the theme park, and it has since burnt down. And in the 1950s, there were swimming lessons by the Recreation Commission, as it was called. Dorothy Higgins mentions working on that project as in her interview with the History Society. And I'll put links to all that information as well as pictures. There's pictures of the old of some of the facilities that were here in times past. Eventually the state bought the land, national parks did, and turned it into a national park. Now it has a national park vibe, which I'm appreciative of. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to eat some maybe lobster and clams down here, but I'm glad that, like we're saying, there's some development that's coming along now, talking about airports and who knows what else, but it doesn't sound like we can already hear planes going over and trains going by and cars on the interstate. So we'd like to avoid that if possible. I can hear people running around. Sounds like kids. You can see the railroad there. There's a path. We're going to go down to the pond here, and we're coming around the back side. Came a new way. So like I said, this pond is a kettle hole formed by glaciers 10,000 to 12,000 years ago, and it's 102 feet deep. Thoreau actually measured it using pieces of string, or rope rather. When it was frozen over, he would go out to the middle, or he surveyed the whole thing. There's a survey map, shows the bottom of the lake as well as the edges. He mapped out the entire thing. You can see people are fishing. You can hear there's people in boats. We have folks swimming, just enjoying summer here. There are many places you can get in the water here at the pond. There on the far side you can see the changing house. It's not really used as much today. Alright, we'll go up to the house site for Thoreau, where his original dwelling was at. Makes me smile to see everybody here today, but at the same time I don't want to offend anybody by filming them. approaching the house site. Some artwork here. Never have enough nature. House site. And it looks like this was the end of a story walk. Okay. Cairn has built up here. People just bringing rocks. Oh, we'll had our own pebble. Out of respect, as I went to the woods, because I wish to live deliberately to front only the essential facts of life, and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. And so here's the cairn. A lot of folks have placed rocks over the years, and this is approximately where his cabin stood. And so you can look around. There's a replica that we'll see before we leave. Beneath these stones lies the chimney foundation of Thoreau's cabin, 1845 to 1847. Go thou, my incense, upward from this hearth. And let me go around back, and he had a woodshed back here. So that's a pretty large woodshed, actually, if you look at the dimensions there. And then there's some information over here we'll look at. You want to read that? I'm not going to read through all that. This was Ralph Waldo Emerson's land at the time. It wasn't forested as much as it is today. They cut a lot of the trees down to just for timber and, you know, using as fuel for fires. And they, my understanding is Emerson bought it to conserve the trees. He also may have wanted to use it for some of his own purposes, firewood for himself. I'm walking back this way a little bit. See if I can run into the bean field again. We'll still go and investigate the Walden Pond, because the bean field should be back this way. No idea where the structure of the amusement park was, other than it was over near the it was over near the trains, because people would, oh, okay, so this is Beanfield Road. Beanfield Road. And we don't have an arrow. Is this Beanfield Road? Or is that Beanfield Road? Let's go down this way just a little. Okay, so we did find the bean field finally. Walked right past it, I think, earlier. It's a pretty good ways from his where you see the hut was. So it's Thoreau's bean field. So it's no longer beans that I hold, nor that I hold beans. Well, hold in memoriam Bradley P. Dean. I don't know who Bradley P. Dean is. So back then, this would have been mainly cleared land. Woods have grown up since. So I guess this is where he had his bean field. I'm not sure why he had it so far away from the pond. Like if I was to make a bean field, oh, look at that. Some sort of sunken place there. Maybe there was a structure of some sort one time. Some fading ghost pipe. All right. So at least we were successful. Oh, here's some more ghost pipe. Excellent version of it. It's actually a flower, no chlorophyll, but it feeds off of mushrooms. Pretty cool. Okay. All right. That's all for us today. Thanks for walking with me and walking my path. And please subscribe. So it's still unclear to me. I can see the bean field down that way. It's unclear to me where the bean field is at. Oh, look at this. A little bit of ghost pipe. It's one of the better pain relievers that you can find in the wild. There is a lot of people have differences of opinion on whether it's how useful it is. Apparently you can put it in alcohol, make a tincture, and it's a good pain reliever. But apparently it does have some toxins, so if you have too much of it, that can be a problem. Thoreau talks about, I call it ghost pipe, and sometimes called Indian pipe. And yeah, so I'm not sure where the bean field was at, but we'll go down and look at the visitor center, the parking lot. What is now the entrance, the main entrance to Walden, or to Walden Pond. Nice bench. I think we're back on the road. This would take us back to Thoreau's hut, the original location. We're headed the other direction. Here's a visitor center where we're gonna go in a minute, and it shows Thoreau's original house, but it really doesn't go into where the bean field was at. So I really don't know. Maybe some fall daisies? We'll have to look it up. It's been a wet year, so there's a lot of mushrooms growing. So we're approaching the entrance now. It looks like it's full, it's closed, which it usually is on the weekend. So many people show up. And by this time of day, the parking lot is full. So we've crossed the road. Now we're walking up on the reconstruction of the Thoreau house replica. He lived here for 2 years, 2 months and 2 days. So the pond is across the street over there. We just walked over. We have this wonderful statue of him. I don't know if he was definitely shorter than me. Here we can see the replica of his living quarters, his bed, chair, cooking stove. And I think he built his for like $30. Writing desk. Around back we have our wood shed, which I think is a little smaller than the one that they had built. Or that I think they built one smaller, I guess what I'm saying. And it cracks me up that now you have to pay to park here. It's like, I think it's quite a bit too. It's like $8 or something to park here. And you can do it on your phone. Like I said, those things happen pretty quick after the road passed. And so this is the visitor center and up here. And it's kind of cool. There's always cool stuff here. It says, welcome to Walden State Reservation. Each town should have a park, a common possession forever, instruction and recreation. All wood might have been preserved for our park forever with Walden in its midst. And that was Henry David Thoreau, Journal, October 15th, 1859. Now we're walking down to the beach. Do have a lifeguard tower. Not sure if anybody is manning the lifeguards right now. People do fish here. My understanding is that the most common fish is bass. We're walking towards the boat docks. Turn it off to keep people privacy. People do occasionally fish here, and mainly bass. This lake was formed 1300 years ago by a glacier called a kettle pond, or kettle. Really a small lake. So they try and keep you on the trails with the fencing to keep the growth, natural growth. It really is beautiful. So we're on the backside now, over near the trains tracks. We started at the boat dock and headed back around. So we'll made a full trip around the pond. It's really nice out here on a Sunday. You hear all sorts of different languages here, people playing in the water. It's really, really wonderful. Makes me happy to live nearby. And I'm getting some good exercise. Putting off working in my garden. Do that on the way home. A little bit. I should be doing more. But you know, summertime, right? There are some vernal ponds off to the, I think that's what you call them, off to the outside here of the path. And you can see people are still fishing. Like I said, mainly smallmouth and largemouth bass. Not sure where these steps lead to. Maybe this is the old entrance to the amusement park. I bet it was. Here's the trains. Oh, trail continues on the other side. During the week, in the morning, the trains run like every hour, and then in the middle of the day, it's like every 2 hours. They stop around midnight. It's if you're traveling using the train, you have to really pay attention to the train schedules, or you'll be late. So another thing that would happen here at the pond would be they would harvest ice. The pond would freeze over in the winter. It still does. But they would cut the ice and use that for cooling. The ice company is just down the street, and they would cover it in sawdust, and it would last a good part of the summer actually. And they would deliver it to businesses or households that need ice. Oh, look at this. Here's another clearing with the railroad there. I don't know the train schedule on Sunday. I mean, but it'd be wonderful if the train would come right about now. I don't think it will. And the train was here when Thoreau was here. He talks about the train. So around in the 1850s, there was trains here at that time. There is not a stop here. You can't get off. You have to go all the way into Concord. Somebody has made a little cairn here. You can even take pictures of Walden Pond from the train as you're going by, but you have to be quick because you can only glimpse it through the trees in a couple of places. Oh, look at this, some fall dandelions. We're still on the Bay Circuit Trail, but the Emerson, this is the end of the Emerson Thoreau Amble.